Come on, man.
So are you more offended that he didn't take no for an answer, or that when he played he was not good?
Yes and yes.
But which was more offensive to you?
I'm offended. Welcome everybody to the Music and Them podcast. I am your host with the most, one of your hosts, Legendarius 51.
Yes, sir.
We also got Sam God to my right. We also got Damani Rhodes to my left.
Yes, sir.
The creator of the DrumTrax. I was about to say Soundtrap. Whoa.
The Soundtrap.
Right.
Well, it is what it is, man. You can call it what you want.
Right.
As long as you're signed up.
Right.
Nah, man. Yeah, like I always say in the beginning, because it's a word from our sponsors. We do have a bunch of drumless play along tracks for you guys to rock with. Over 300, releasing new ones every week. We have some really dope ones that we've been releasing. It's crazy. And I actually want to give you an opportunity to try them out for free. Click the link in the bio or in the description here on YouTube for all of that good stuff. We also, if you're trying to get your drum lessons up, you're trying to become a better drummer, we also have DrumTrax Premium, over 300 drum courses and lessons, and over 350 of those actually, and also a private Facebook group. We go live every week. We do guided practice sessions. We give you workouts, all the stuff you actually need to become a better drummer. But that's it, man. Let's get into this talk.
All right. So today we're talking greasy. Okay.
Are we?
This is the musician's etiquette episode, or as I like to call it, the slander episode. Okay.
You sound like you got something on your chest, Darius. What happened?
I got several things. The people are gonna remain nameless because I don't know their names anyway. But we've dealt with some crazy stuff this week. We dealt with some crazy stuff this week, or over the last week. Last week we dealt with the crazy sound guy. Sound people, please stay in your lane.
Can we talk a minute about grumpy sound guys too?
Grumpy
sound guy
goodness.
syndrome. That's the thing.
They're mad at you.
Sorry about that.
Look at you. He put the flyer up. He said, "Hey, sign up for DrumTrax." And somebody was like, "Hey, what's up, homie? Let me."
He's over here
We do get calls. We definitely do get calls. Yes.
It's like I'm in a meeting right now, guys.
Yeah. The dude that shows up. I think those guys are the type of guys that show up and hate their job. Like they don't want to be working. They're just like, I gotta deal with you. You don't even know me, bro. Like you don't. know us yet.
I just wanted a little more in the monitor.
Yeah,
And then when you ask them for more in the monitor, and they're like, "That's it. That's all I've got." I'm like, "That's a QSC speaker. I know it's got more headroom on it.
just a little bit."
And you know what? That is true. Because sometimes I just don't believe the sound. I'd be like, you're not telling the truth, bro. You're lying. You just don't want to.
You're not trying.
You're not either you're not telling the truth, or you're just not good at what you do. Because there's no way that I should be able to hear more from the house speaker than I hear coming out of my monitor.
Yes.
Right.
So like but
And to me, your outlook should be, oh, okay, I'm going to do whatever, the musicians need so that they're comfortable.
Right. I mean,
and if I'm like, oh, I think I've hit an obstacle, there's always a solution. You just have to keep trying.
Right. And there's always, because there is the variables, right? Like, oh, this musician wants his monitor extremely loud. I think one solution that a lot of sound engineers never think of, because I'm a taller person, I'm above average height. And because of that, having monitors on the floor, if I'm standing and playing, like when I'm playing keys, if I'm standing and playing, having a monitor on the floor, you could turn that thing all the way up, but it's hitting me in the kneecap.
Right.
So because of that, I need the monitor to actually be raised. I've literally had monitors sit on stands or sit on a small table, and then they can turn everything down because it's actually getting to my ear. And it's the same on the drums. If you're sitting at a drum throne and your monitor, which hopefully you have in-ear monitors, but it's not possible at every gig. But if you don't, and you are playing with a wedge and it's not loud enough, chances are it may be that it's not actually angled towards your ear, and that you may need to raise it a tad so that it can actually hit you, and then you can turn it down.
Do you hear that sound, guys? Do your job. Why is the keyboard player doing your job for you right now?
Solution oriented.
Why?
Listen, I be trying to solve all my problems. Sometimes other people's problems, and I shouldn't. But
how many times have you had to start helping the sound guy?
Listen,
all the time.
And I'm not sure. This isn't just to slander sound guys. There's lots of great sound guys.
I'm here to slander you guys. So let's go. Listen. We were playing this thing, and Courtney's hitting the snare, and the dude's like, there's a ring on the snare. Like, you don't hear that ring? And everybody's like, no, we don't hear the ring. And he's like, yeah, it's right at 640 dB. And then I stepped out and I heard like a faint. And he was like, yeah, that's that 640. And I was like, yeah, I barely hear it though.
Then EQ
And I
it.
was like, can you just pull the 640 down? He was like, no, you gotta, you're listening. And then he pulls 640 up.
Wow.
And I'm like, what is happening? Just, if you know exactly what frequency is ringing out, just kind of pull that frequency back a little bit. Maybe, I don't know. You're able to pull it up. Can you just pull it down?
Yeah.
Can you? Oh my goodness.
Breathe, Darius. It's okay, bro. It's gonna be all right, man.
And then there was the other gig where the guy had, I was like, can you get a monitor for the singer? And he's like, okay, cool. And he gets the monitor and then he plugs the singer's mic directly into the monitor and then daisy chains from the monitor to the house system.
Exactly. Look,
Wait.
everyone's
Here's my question. And I know that if you're a drummer and you're watching this, there may be some sound stuff that you don't know. We're talking about these things you actually should know though. You gotta look.
You should definitely know.
If was the monitor powered?
It was a powered monitor.
Okay, because if it wasn't, it just doesn't make any sense.
It wouldn't do anything.
Right,
but it still doesn't make any sense because he has a mix. And I was, everyone in the band is kind of sitting around laughing because we're just like, we're not sound guys, but we know that this is not the signal path.
See, this is why I took
we
a
know
sound
enough
class.
about signal path.
Yeah.
So I told the guy, I was like, well, can't you run out of the monitor out of your mixing board? The auxiliary, that's what it's there for.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, yeah, we could try that.
Wow.
Where was this?
This was at Darling Aviary.
Let's go.
I'm just going to say it.
Shout out.
Is that in Sac?
Yeah, it's a rooftop bar in Sac on K
You know
Street.
where Tiger is at?
They don't really have...
It's right next to Tiger.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They don't have music.
Oh,
It's
then
kind of a
the
new
sound
thing.
guy, he's probably wasn't a real sound guy.
No, but we've seen him around town running sound at various functions. So...
Yeah, well...
Oh, is this the same guy that was at the other spot at the?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, this is the same guy. This is the same guy. Hope he doesn't watch
please,
the... Actually,
hey.
I hope he does watch the podcast.
Hey, listen, get it together, dude. Whatever. Listen,
I guess this is Chronicles from the real life of Darius and Sam. Like, wow. I haven't experienced a sound man that bad in a long time, but I did for that kind of reason. When I was 18 years old, maybe 19, I took a sound class at City College where I learned how to run sound. I ran sound for...
Pause for just a second. Just 1 second. We're supposed to be slandering other people. You hear how you just slandered us?
How did I
He was
slander
like,
you?
I haven't dealt with that since I was 18 years
I know,
old.
I didn't
Y'all
say
still
that.
dealing with that yesterday.
You're twisting my words here. I said...
He's not doing the horrible gigs we keep doing.
No, I've had horrible soundmen since then. It's just been a while since.
Yeah.
And honestly, a lot of that probably has to do with the fact that there was a pandemic and I didn't play anywhere for 2 years.
Right.
But
right.
as far as the reason why I learned this stuff is so that I can be the solution to because I'm the type of person that just takes as much personal responsibility as I can. Like everything that's in my power to do. So if I know something about this, now it's in my power to solve it. And I don't have to depend on your lack of knowledge.
Exactly.
And so I just be like, okay, when I see something's happening with the sound man, I can gently suggest things that may be of use without trying to make them feel like they're inadequate.
And that's the etiquette part, you know? And that's, like with this guy, I didn't like come down on him or something. I was just like, why don't we do this?
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm thinking, you idiot.
Right. The whole time. But you
don't want to piss him off.
Because you have that goal in mind, which is I want the best sound possible.
Yeah.
So if I say this, he's going to be angry and I won't get the best sound
Your life
possible
is in his hands.
at that point.
Already.
At that point.
And that's why we're talking about it now. Even at that gig that I was talking about when he was talking about the 640, we didn't say anything. We're just like, okay, cool. He tried to put gaff tape on Courtney's snare.
Obviously, I knew that was coming.
Yeah, and then he came up and was looking at my pedal board and was like telling me what to do with my pedal board and my amp. And then he came up and actually went up to Sam's amp on stage while we were starting the show and just
Was adjusting the frequencies on his
on the actual amp, on Sam's actual amp.
Right. And I just went down and like put it back where it was.
So I've actually had that happen to me, not from a sound man, but from another musician who was just trying to foil our time playing. And it was at a church function. Actually, it was at a church event. When I say a church function, it was a convention, not like regular church service, but the ones that be in the hotels with 1,500 people. And we were going to play, and they, in the middle of the song, came up and started adjusting things on the
hating.
I almost got in a fight with a musician that day inside of the service too. But it wasn't the same musician, but they were all friends. They were.
Was it the sound guy that was adjusting your stuff?
No,
just some random musician. Mm-hmm. What?
Haters.
See, that's another rule of musicians etiquette that we need to discuss.
Nothing.
Don't touch anyone's gear.
It's suffice it to me and all those musicians are cool now. But at that time, suffice it to say, tensions were high.
Yeah.
We'll leave it there. But like at the end of the day, like I feel like when it comes to these sound men, especially the ones that are heavily on an ego trip and they are not solving a problem though, there's just a way you got to deal with them. And your number one asset is your knowledge of how sound works, your knowledge of the sound that you're looking for on stage, and the best ways to achieve it. And your knowledge will lean towards you being able to solve issues that the sound man may not be able to, that works out for your favor and his.
Yeah, you got to know some things. I used to slander people. Man, slander episode. I used to think it was weird for people to try to talk about all these frequencies and all this. And I'm like, dude, let the sound man do his thing. Until I started running across these like bad sound men. When you got good sound men, you just sit back, let them do their thing. And like you said, hey, can I get a little bit more of this?
Yeah.
It's done. It's easy.
But you got to pick and choose your battles though too, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're doing a 20-minute set at some random spot that's a one-off gig and you're not going to be there regularly, don't fight the sound man, bro. Just, it's going to be what it is.
Yeah.
Get in, get out, get your money. And that's how I think of it, at least. And if it's an important gig, like if you're on a nice stage and it's a show, you're actually doing a full set, like an hour, 45 minutes, 2 hours, whatever. Yeah, you don't want to spend an hour with horrible sound
at all.
If you're at a church that you play at or something like that you play at regularly every week, you want to work on that type of situation and advocate for the sound. But other than that, like, you just got to be able to pick and choose your battle. So you're not the musician that's griping everywhere that you go for a 15, 20-minute set.
Right.
So
yeah, pick your battles.
So and you feel like you got it off your chest, or you got?
I got more.
Oh, come on, bring it then. What you got?
Listen, for all of you beautiful local musicians that peruse the halls of the rehearsal studios that we all have rooms at.
Oh, okay.
Please leave us alone. Okay? Just if we don't know you, just leave us alone.
Well, what happened to networking?
Somebody came in to play the homie's drums yesterday, and he didn't know what he was doing at all, and he wouldn't take no for an answer. And so
what do you mean he wouldn't take no for? So wait, you said there was somebody that came to your studio.
He just walked in as we were done with rehearsal. We were loading out.
Okay, so your door was open. Got you.
About to, Christian's getting ready to head out. He's loading out, and the homie just walks by and was like, "Hey, what's up? Yeah, I know you. You took some classes at AR. Like, what? I want to say that was like 2000, whatever year, 2013. I remember seeing you there." I was like, "Yeah, okay, cool, man, yeah."
Yeah.
Like, and then he looks over. Well, first he walks in and he does this. And I'm like, "Bro, what are you trying to steal in here, bro?" Right, I literally said that out loud. He's like, "What's going on, man?" And then after he gives his little spiel about AR, and he's like, "Hey, do you mind if I play your drums?" Of course, like, actually, yeah, I kind of do. Well, that's a Sonar, right? Yeah, I got this Sonar kit, a 24-inch bass drum. It was made in the 70s. It was made of this wood, and it has this paint job. It was a 9-piece kit, and it had a rack. Man, my dad played, so I know what I'm doing, man. Just come on, man. Just let me. Court's like, you know what, man? Have at it. Dude was horrible, okay? Sorry if you watch this, but come on, man.
Don't ask to play people's gear.
Come on, man.
So are you more offended That he didn't take no for an answer, or that when he played he was not good?
Yes and yes.
But which was more offensive to you?
I'm offended. I'm automatically offended if you bother me at all. Like, just listen.
Would it have been better though if he could play, if he was actually dope? Would it have mattered?
I would have still been upset that I got bothered, because it's just like, if I don't know you, just say what's up. Hey,
So
what's
at
up,
that
y'all?
point, things could have only gotten worse and not gotten better.
All day, because I'm like, why are you like? And it's good to be polite, but at a point where it's like, you see that, read the room. Musicians, if you're a musician, don't just learn how to read music. Learn how to read the room.
Yeah, that's an important skill.
Like, goodness
I just think
gracious.
that, I know musicians are particular about their gear.
Yes.
And I never really ask someone to play their instrument, like ever, unless I'm at
know
a
them.
jam session or something like that and I know them and I don't have my bass or whatever and I want to sit in, then I might be like, hey, do you mind if I play your instrument?
Yeah.
And if they say no, I'm definitely going to let it go at that point.
I remember
I'm not
it's
going to ask again.
Funny thing, I remember it's a long time ago, probably like 2017, so not crazy long ago. But I was at a gig with Mino Yancey, and it was one of our first times playing out. And we were at a small club, and we had got asked to come and like play some of our own original stuff, even though they were a lot of people doing covers and open mic type thing. Yeah. So we played, but then, I play keys in Mino Yancey, right? But somebody there knows that I play bass, and their bass player that was supposed to be the house band bass player was running crazy late. And they was like, hey, bro, can you just fill in? I was like, I didn't bring my bass. Like, I'm playing keys and I have a whole setup over here. And they were like, well, you have a bass player in your band, right? And I was like, yeah, ask him to use his bass. And I was just sitting there like, well, why don't we ask him to play bass, right? And so we did. He didn't feel comfortable because he didn't know any other songs that they were trying to do, which was fine. I was like, well, they're asking me to play. Can I play your bass? And he told me, all right, bro, I usually don't let people play my bass, but you got to wash your hands. I was like, I said I have to wash my hands. That's it? You just want me to wash your hands? Like, yeah. Because his thing was he knows that when you play your bass, you get skin cells from your fingers that get into the strings and all of that.
Some people's hands are like oilier than other people's and stuff.
And it was fine, but I had never in my life, because I grew up in a culture where if you played anything. Like if you go to somebody, because I grew up playing in church, and in church culture, everything was community. Like the organ there is not the person's organ that's playing it. The organ there is the church's organ, and everybody who knows how to play when they come in can play it. The drums are the church's drum. Nowadays, it's like, bring your own snare, cymbal, and stuff like that for sure. Please do that. But back in the day, you just showed up and played whatever was there. And if you were playing a bass, you could play someone else's bass, right? If your church had a bass player, because back in the day, it was a lot of organ and drums. Yeah. But so I had never experienced, I've experienced no, but I haven't experienced wash your hands. I thought that was so hilarious that I joke about it with him to this day. I'd be like, bro, is it, because he's let me play his bass like more since then, but he's just, now I'd be like, bro, is it cool? Do I need to wash my hands? I have hand sanitizer on me. Is that all right, bro?
Yeah. I want to reiterate something you said about bringing the snare and cymbals. I just want to make sure to reiterate that.
Kick pedal too.
Yeah, kick pedal for any young drummers that might be watching this.
Stick back too. Like you can't not have sticks.
Yeah. If they say there's a back line, bring your snare and cymbals and your kick pedal.
Yes.
And sticks.
Always. And have a clutch.
For you talking about for the
hi-hat stand.
Oh, just an extra clutch?
Just have an extra clutch just in case, because I've seen that happen a lot over the past couple of years.
Wait, you seen people show up and they had a hi-hat stand in the back line with no clutch?
I've seen it maybe once or twice with no clutch, but I've also seen it where for whatever reason the clutch didn't work or something was going on, and I'm like, it's just a clutch. What's going on? But I didn't investigate it. I just remember hearing and seeing that.
Right. Drum key as well.
Yeah.
Drum key as well.
Bring your drum key.
Get your little kit together.
Yeah. The drummer starter pack, right?
Yeah.
So like, let's list it off. Okay, so this is what you need when you show up at every gig that you play if you're a drummer. The drummer's kit pack that you must have. Your drumsticks, your snare, your kick pedal. Bring your own kick pedal. And then you said the clutch? for a hi-hat clutch and your cymbals.
Yes.
Those are the things. Now, you may not need your hi-hat clutch at every gig, but it's good to just have it in the bag.
Yeah, just have it.
Just makes sense. Because at the end of the day, like I think cymbals are the one touchy thing that a lot of drummers don't want other drummers playing on, because cymbals are one of the most expensive pieces.
And they get broken.
Then they get broken.
You don't want people banging on your stuff.
Especially if
they hit.
And if you're playing a gig where there's lots of bands playing, it's a prerequisite. Yeah. And your snare drum, though, at the end of the day, is a huge part of your sound. Like this kit that's behind us, we use for drum covers, right? If I'm playing a rock drum cover, or if somebody's playing one, or whoever's doing the cover is playing a rock drum cover, we'll tune the snare differently, or we can take and put a completely different snare on the same kit, and it'll change the sound of everything. Yeah. That snare sound is important. So you would definitely want to have your own snare because it fits the music that you're playing and all of that good stuff. So that was good. That little starter pack.
Dial in your sound.
Get your starter pack.
That could be a whole other episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you don't want to be on the slander episode, pay attention.
The proper etiquette.
You know what? We should start looking for, because Darius loves the smoke. So what I'm thinking is maybe we should I should find YouTube clips that Darius may agree with or disagree with and let you bring the smoke.
Let's go. Because
they could be your own little segment. We just call it the smoke session.
Smoke session.
The smoke.
Coming soon to a theater near
section.
you.
The smoking session?
Smoking section. Some of you that are a little older might remember when there used to be smoking sections.
It's like illegal everywhere now, right?
Yeah. Right. You can't smoke nowhere now, but
I mean, not cigarettes.
You can smoke the weed.
So I guess that's a whole nother conversation. I actually, one time recently, Vadia had at band camp. Recently, Vadia had a show at a dispensary in San Francisco on 420, and she got booked to do the show, and I went to that show, and I was just there watching her perform, right, and checking out how the audience responded. She murdered everything, and it was in a dispensary, and they had I guess it's not a lounge, but it was what do you call it? It's the seating area in a restaurant. What would you call it? Like in a bar, not a bar, but like in a restaurant. I don't know, but it was where like the seating area was, where people would typically order drinks and have food or whatever.
Yeah, a lounge.
A lounge.
Yeah.
What it was, it had tables set up with ashtrays, and people could buy their weed at the dispensary and go sit inside the lounge area and smoke. That's where the show was. And so people,
y'all was in there getting contact.
I'm just doing that here and there, different pop-ups and stuff. I think the legality is kind of gray area.
Not in San Francisco. This was a whole space. Like, it was like built out. It was nicely designed, and the furniture and everything was nice. And it was like a whole
San Francisco. Everything's nice.
No, that's not true about San Francisco. not in the least bit.
Well, I mean, most of the businesses are.
When you go inside,
just to be able to even have a business. Yeah, when you go inside, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Outside, no, nothing's.
There's a lot of nice stuff, a lot of nice architecture in San Francisco. But yeah, San Francisco there's some areas. I went to a show to see Casey Benjamin, who played in the Robert Glasper Experiment.
Right,
He's also played with a lot of people.
Vocoders, sax guy.
Yeah, but it was his show.
Nice.
And there was another artist named Stout, who's a singer, who was performing that night with him as well. And so me and Vadi went to the show, and to get inside the club, after we parked, I can't tell you the amount of homeless people.
Right. Oh, yeah.
That I had to step over on the sidewalk.
Oh, yeah.
To get to the show where I was going. It was like, it was devastating to see. Like, oh my God.
But then once you got in, everything.
Oh, it was amazing inside. Inside, like as soon as you walked in the door, it was like, oh.
The juxtaposition is crazy in like San Francisco and LA of like these like people paying like $4,000 a month for these like tiny apartments and stuff, and then outside there's just homeless people, literal just villages of homeless people. You know, like
Sacramento's on the rise too.
Sacramento's right there with them.
I was in San Diego recently though, and it was just beautiful. Like there's homeless people, but it wasn't like. Well, I don't know if San Francisco is comparable to a lot of places, but it was San Diego's like right now, and it's been for a few few years now, one of my favorite cities in the country. Like, it's just
I
beautiful.
haven't been there in a while.
Oh, you gotta go.
Yeah, it's been
Gas lamp,
years.
stay in the gas lamp if you like being where stuff is at and where the action is. You're still, even in the gas lamp district, you're very, very close to the beach. The food is great. Like, it was great. Anyway, but and I'm just saying that in juxtaposed to the devastation that I saw in San Francisco. But there's also still a lot of beautiful architecture in San Francisco. There's a lot of beautiful. There's a park in San Francisco that is huge, and there's a museum in there, and it's gorgeous. Like, it's
Golden Gate Park.
Is it Golden Gate Park?
Golden
There's a
Gate Park
museum
has
in
a couple of
there.
museums.
There's like a couple museums.
Yeah. So I went to see Picasso stuff in there. It was him and another artist, I forget. I've also performed in that museum before as well. And you if you drive on one side of the museum, you turn right into the hill that this park is on, and you go park under the park, and you go up, and yeah, it's a cool little situation. So I'm saying all that to say that it's not that San Francisco is 100% horrible, but there is some not so niceness. But where Vadia had that show was kind of downtown-ish in San Francisco, and the room and I don't know if I was contact, high or whatever, but it was
going down.
What's
in
the
that
word?
room.
It was a small session, I guess, because it was 420 and it was the show there.
It was hotboxed a little.
A little bit. There was one guy who performed and was like, I've never performed high before, and I didn't even smoke. So I was like, bro, it wasn't that bad. I didn't feel high at all. But anyway, that's that. I think that we will do that, though, the smoke session with Darius.
We're going to do
could
the
be a new
smoke
segment.
section. Here's the smoke section for today.
That could be cool because that'd be a nice little something for Instagram and TikTok too. So,
Drummers, take your starter pack to the gigs. If you don't take your starter pack to the gigs, you'll be outside of the gig sleeping on the sidewalk. If you do take your starter pack to the gig, you'll be inside playing with Casey Benjamin. We were just watching. I don't know if you're going to be playing with Casey Benjamin. That's
No, guarantee. Yeah, Darius is guaranteeing that you're going to play with Casey Benjamin.
I don't know.
I guarantee
Follow
it.
his
Like Denzel.
It's very
Let's go.
specific.
So honestly, I feel like because we didn't name this podcast before we shot it, so I'm thinking this could be called, because it's kind of with all the range of things we talked about,
Right.
It's how to avoid how to avoid issues when you have a bad sound man, because inevitably you're going to deal with a trash sound man.
Yeah.
But not all sound men are trash. Let's be clear. There's some phenomenal sound men.
Great sound
They're
guys
actually
out
so
there.
phenomenal that people hire them to go everywhere they go to perform. We're going on tour. Cool. We're bringing this sound guy
Because
he's phenomenal.
you got every big professional touring act has their own sound guy, because
Straight like that.
he's gonna make you sound the way you want to sound,
And it's the consistency
you
of
can't
it
trust
all.
anyone else.
Yeah, when you're going on tour like that, it's a product. The show is, and he knows how to make. And one thing that makes something dope is the consistency of it. Is it good? Is it right every time?
Right.
That's even though McDonald's is not the greatest food, you know what you're going to get when you go
Every single time.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't,
Consistency.
right, you're going there for that particular taste at that particular time, and if it doesn't come out that way, you're like, wait, this is different. Even if it's better, it's still different. You want it to be the same.
Yeah.
Type of thing. And yeah, we're talking about sound here and McDonald's, but in your playing, it's okay if there's some slight variations. I don't want you to take what I'm saying to the extreme, but that's the point. So, all right, I think we can call it on this one.
Download the DrumTrax app right now, you busy?
Yo, I'm Damani. This has been
Legendaries 51.
Sam Phelps.
and we're out of here. We'll catch you guys on the next one.
Holla.
Fam, it's your boy Damani. I hope you enjoyed the video that you just watched, and I hope you liked the video. I hope you left a comment, and I wanted to invite you into DrumTrax Premium. We literally have over 350 drum lessons, over 300 by now, drumless tracks, a community in the private Facebook group of drummers that we go live with and do live drum coaching every single week. We want to help you find your voice and explore your creativity on the drums. We can do that with DrumTrax Premium. You can find the links in the description of this video, and if you're looking for more content, you can click one of the videos that are showing up on the screen right now and check them out. All right, fam? I look forward to seeing you in more videos, and I look forward to seeing you in DrumTrax Premium. All right, fam. Peace.